You're listening to the BS Podcast, where we cover all of the bull in the news and more. Now, welcome your hosts, Dave and Zach.
Hello and welcome to the BS Podcast, where we talk the absurd, the ridiculous, and yes, the bullshit. I am Dave, and joining me is my partner in BS, Mr. Zach. Zach, how are you, buddy?
Dave, what's up, man?
We've got a packed show today. We've got so many topics, so much bullshit to wade through, so much to shovel over our shoulders and maybe toss on the guy behind us. I'm tired of it all, but we are here. We are here to get through it for all of you, all this crap going on in the world, and to find a way to laugh at it all, right, Zach?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, let me run through the topics before we get started. I need more beer. We've got a possible coronavirus treatment and coronavirus prevention, so you really want to pay attention to those two stories. And sports in an age of social distancing, something we're going to talk about. We really have two kind of related stories there. And then we're moving to maybe everyone's favorite, Florida news. Then we get a nice story about cops helping out in the community, a story of how all of us are keeping busy while locked up at home. Moving on, don't drink this coffee, please. We'll get into that one. We've got another example of elite hypocrisy, something we talked about last week. We've got tree hugger news. Mother Nature hates you. Always a good reminder for that. If it's not getting you on one thing, it's going to get you for something else. And a new identification method. You may have heard of iris scans and fingerprints, but now there's a new way of identifying people. Can't wait to get into that. And then we will close with fear-mongering. Zach, now every week we've been talking. Every week before we run through the BS, all these topics we've been talking about our own personal BS, our own hyper-local news. Anything going on with you?
My neighbor's dumbass car horn woke me up at like 4 o'clock this morning. So that sucked. You know, the one good thing about this shelter in place, I get to roll out of bed and immediately start work. Like, you know, I got to start at like 8-ish. So I like wake up at like 7:50 and I roll out of bed and hop on my computer and start working.
It's nice.
So, you know, I mean, up at 4 a.m. today and I could not get back to sleep. So, you know that the day started off lovely.
Oh, crazy. You know, the same thing happened to me. Not car alarm, but I had a terrible night's sleep last night. The dog was fidgeting in the bed, getting up and out, and I don't know, I was having weird dreams, and and I just could not sleep. So I'm right there with you. I mean, I do agree. Well, I've been working home for a while, but I mean, it's the time from rolling out of bed to just getting to the desk is very small. It's very convenient. I enjoy it a lot.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. This is the one blessing of being stuck in the house.
It is. Now we joke about how lame it is to talk about the weather, but you know, I don't care. I think it's cool. Well, what's the weather like in your area, Zach?
We had some damn really bad storms yesterday, but today it is beautiful and sunny. It's a little chilly. It's like in the 50s, but I mean, you know, it's nice out right now.
Yeah. Now here we're getting in Florida. We hit about 90 degrees the last 2 days, so it's like it's hell on earth, and it's here, and it's going to be here for like 6 months. Now, for me, you know, I don't have much to complain about, believe it or not. You know, it's warming up outside. The magnolia trees are blooming. The jasmine is blooming. There's a nice fragrance in the air when you go outside. So I'm grateful for everything. You know, maybe it was. As I told our Facebook audience, Saturday night, my neighbor gave me a roll of toilet paper, and I've been telling the audience here how we were down to our last roll. And that last roll had essentially run out before the neighbor stepped up and gave me that bit of charity. So I think that's kind of, I've been feeding off of that for the last couple of days.
What a great guy. What a good Samaritan, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into our topics, buddy. I need more beer. Pennsylvania 93-year-old woman put out an "I need more beer" sign outside of her door, and you know what? She got beer. People were leaving cases of beer in her front yard.
You know, hats off to her for being honest. It's like when you see those homeless people, like the homeless population in Baltimore. There's a few people that like I see, and all their signs usually say like, you know, "I need booze," you know, and they're not like doing a sob story. They literally just say front, "You give me money, I'm going to use it to buy alcohol." I'm just,
yeah,
you know, right?
Just be honest.
Yeah. And I usually give them money before I give other people money, but
it's, I know, right? this is great. I mean, she ended up with 10 cases of beer, and so that's great. So she drinks apparently she drinks a Coors Light every day, and she says she was on her last 12. Now, I'm not buying that now.
The mountains are always blue in this lady's house.
Something a little. I don't know. I think that one might be 6, and she was thinking. I got a 2-day supply because, at 12, it's not at 12 days anyway, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She says, I have a beer every night. And you know what? Beer has vitamins in it. It's good for you as long as you don't overdo it. Well, very well said. I don't need beer, but for those who do, this is just as important. This is essential. This is just like toilet paper.
Oh, yeah. It's 100% essential. That's why they haven't shut down the liquor stores in most states yet.
People will be murdering one another. Yeah. God. All right, so that's all I had on that. You good on that one, Zach?
I'm good on that.
All right, great. So we've got a possible coronavirus treatment, as I mentioned earlier, which is drinking whiskey. A doctor says,
perfect.
The higher the percentage of the alcohol, the better it is. You kind of, swizzle that around in your throat. Could kill the bacteria, could kill the viruses. I don't know that this is true, but I'm certainly willing to endorse this treatment.
100%. I think I'm going to go get a bottle right now.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
I'm gonna just get a whole bottle of Jack and just have a good old time, protect myself from COVID-19.
I got a question here. Does this conflict with the don't use Tito's as a hand sanitizer thing? I mean, is there a similar logic going on here, or is it a more concentrated version of the alcohol being right on your throat? Because you picking that up or what? It seems like a little bit of misinformation.
I don't think it's misinformation at all. I think people are just trying to use booze to help themselves in whatever way they can. I mean,
now this does come from this is actually a story on Informed American, so I encourage you all to check that out. This comes from a lead doctor at the Institute of Virology at Saarland University Hospital in Germany. We can trust him, and what do you got to lose, right?
Well, those Germans like their liquor and beer, so
yeah. As long, I think they like it so long as they can rationalize maybe what it is, which I'm perfectly happy to do that. All right, moving on. We've got some coronavirus prevention, some action being taken by some of our state governments, and it's concern for the prison population. We don't want them to get sick, so instead we're going to release them out into the general public to, I don't know, would you call this predictable results, Zach? A man that was released commits assault and robbery after he was...
It's 100% predictable. I mean, what did they expect was going to happen? I'm not saying that there are people that aren't in jail that are innocent, but
right.
Like the way I see it is like their whole point is that they don't want to spread the coronavirus inside the prison, but at least like it's contained.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
By definition, a prison is a quarantine.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't, if someone gets in there, why don't you just leave it inside of there and like lock the guy in his cell and put him in, I don't know, solitary and call it a day?
Now, I think we touched on this, the idea that this was being floated, I think maybe in episode 2, and now we're seeing the results.
Yeah.
So there was let's see, he was, now this guy, his name, we don't need to say his name, but he was one of 1,100 parole violators who was released by Governor Cuomo in New York. And, you want to stop the spread of COVID, but you're not interested in spreading the stop of crime, which is also a problem.
I'm pretty sure I looked at this. I was looking at this story the other day, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't his first time in jail either. Like he was a repeat offender, and they were like, you know what? Maybe 4th or 5th time's the charm. Maybe this time he'll go out, and then he goes out and does the same thing.
Yeah, we believe him this time. He's really reformed his life. And the last thing we want is him to get sick, not what he might do to the community at large.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, this is the definition of bullshit, right?
Oh yeah, it's 100% bullshit. On the bullshit scale, it's at a 10.
Do we need a bullshit-ometer maybe?
Yeah, we definitely need a bullshit-ometer.
We'll get on that. And by the way, this story could also be found on informedamerican.com. Zach, something you found, and this is about sports in the age of social distancing. This comes from Sky News. Coronavirus. Mannequins and cardboard cutouts replace fans as Taiwan baseball season launches. This is sure to give the players...
Yeah. What's the fucking point? I mean, the players know they're not real. The people watching it on TV knows they're not real. It's just stupid. Like,
this is crazy.
I just picture like someone hit like a foul ball and like the mannequin just sitting there and like the foul ball hitting the mannequin.
Oh, that'd be great. It's like a head knocked off.
Yeah.
It just goes through. It's a cardboard one.
So stupid. Yeah, it's one of the cardboard ones. It punches a hole right through their chest. The camera slowly zooms into the broken mannequin.
Oh, but if you read further into the story, you actually do get the point, which is they dress up these mannequins in cardboard cutouts with corporate sponsored logos like Rakuten or whatever else. So this is a way of advertising. What do you think? That's a bit cynical, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess they're going to be losing so much damn money from like not having any concession sales or anything like that. I guess that's their way of trying to make up dollars that they're going to be missing from not having any fans in the stadium.
It's great. And then they have, no, I agree. And then, some of these cardboard cutouts have surgical masks on. This is crazy. Now, I wonder, we've talked about how, a lot of the things that we've been forced into over the last month or so may have lasting effects and may continue, going on. We're not going to go back to whatever the world used to be. So, will it be the case now that when we eventually let fans into the stadiums, you're going to have to wear some kind of an advertisement to this is the new normal now? When
you get your ticket, they say what you have to wear an advertisement for.
Yeah.
Make sure you wear a shirt that says Nike on it or something.
Oh, crazy. All right, Zach, let's get into Florida news. And our first story from Florida news is in the similar vein as the story from Taiwan. And it is that I think last night, Monday night, we heard from Florida Governor DeSantis, who determined that the WWE wrestling is an essential business and it can't continue in the state of Florida. However, there won't be any fans in attendance. So this one I think is a little controversial. I'd like to know what you think of this. Is this BS? What's the BS here? Is it that we're calling it an essential business or what?
I think it's that we're calling it an essential business. I mean, I guess it's on the same line of WWE is sports. So, they're not making other sports are filming without an audience. But I think wrestling is a little bit different than, baseball or something like that. I mean, these guys are literally like grappling one another. I mean, that's not social distancing at all. And especially when you have some kind of matches, there's more than, a few people in the ring at one time. So I don't see how that's gonna, I don't see how it's fair to deem it as essential when it's got to be so easy for a disease to spread between the wrestlers.
Yeah. So there's kind of two things going on there. First of all, what is essential? I think maybe that's kind of the thing. I don't think there's really a really good definition of what essential is, right? I mean, in your life, what is essential? You need food, clothing, and shelter, right? So your house doesn't close. So you need food, and so they keep grocery stores open. I mean, you need clothes, but you have your own, so you don't need to keep clothing stores open. Other than that, and a hospital, which isn't really a store, but other than a grocery store and a pharmacy, I don't think anything else could be essential. I mean, you might even say like, well, what if my car breaks down? But how essential is it? It's not essential to your life. It's essential to you getting out of your house.
I've been struggling with that too, with like Home Depot and Lowe's and, any kind of home improvement store too that's remained open. Yeah. Because, I've been going to them because most people like, everyone is stuck in their house right now. Most people are doing work around their house. Is that necessarily essential? But those stores, I would assume, have to be open. What happens if you're like a friend of mine, his water heater just went up the other day. His basement got completely flooded. He had to go to Home Depot and buy a new, water heater and fix it. If they're not open, and your house gets flooded, shut off the water, you're out of what is your house supposed to be without water for, till the shelter in place is over with?
Yeah. So then what do? You do a dividing, you can't buy like paint, but you can buy a water heater. It just gets crazy. So I think this whole essential thing is, there's no real good definition of it. I think really what it means is, non-essential is like a strip club.
Yeah.
And, maybe it's not even about that. Maybe it's just about people congregating together. And what is essentially non-essential is when, doing things for fun, like a strip club, but like going to restaurants, stuff like that. That makes sense.
Movie
just
theater.
don't need to do that.
At all.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Say again.
A movie theater. Like how packed in are you when you go to a movie theater?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And wow, I mean, forget that. Who knows when they're going to open those again? No, you raised another interesting point about, so there's no fans, so there's no gathering there, but the wrestlers themselves. Now, I mean, I don't know how big a crew is to film this, maybe 20 people or something. You have your announcers, the referee, the wrestlers themselves, and just some ring people to do equipment. So would you say maybe 20? You think that's a fair amount?
I'd say that's probably a small amount compared to how many people they probably need to go into like an event. Audio, video people, all that. Yeah, I feel like it probably end up being more than that. I mean, the audio, video people probably don't need to be next to each other, minus the people in the production booth, which is probably like 5, maybe tops, in the production booth. But other than that, you got all the talent, the wrestlers, the camera guys, the camera crew.
It's a lot of people. No, I mean, do you think? I mean, is there any way if you just give everybody a test every day and then just see who's sick, or is it just stupid to even do this?
I mean, are we running short on tests as it is?
Well,
every damn day, it's like, hey, before you go over there.
Well, it's an essential business.
Yeah, exactly. It's essential now. Before you get in the ring with someone there, take your 5th coronavirus test this week.
Oh my goodness! So, all right, I think maybe I've come across then, because I was first said like, well, people are just mad about this essential label, but then the fact that it's just pointless right now. It's just to allow the business to keep continuing in some way. But like we were saying about the baseball story, I mean, there's no fans. There's just no excitement. I mean, everything, especially professional wrestling, it's just drama and theater. You're not. The crowd reaction is like 80% of the show, isn't it?
100%.
All right. Well, that's all I had on that. We got more Florida news, Zach. A bizarre rash of porn-filled Easter eggs left in mailboxes leads to Florida woman's arrest.
Oh yeah.
That's excellent.
Oh, so this was in Flagler County. This woman was arrested after multiple calls were made to authorities that Wednesday night regarding female placing eggs in mailboxes. The officer saw the car match this blah blah blah. So I mean, there's just. She said she was educating people. There's a bag full of pornographic material inside the vehicle. She told everyone that she was just doing she was just helping out. I mean, kids need to know about this stuff eventually, right? If they're not going to get it in sex ed, maybe the DS is her arrest.
She added her phone number in with all the pictures, trying to pick up a partner. Oh my God, if that happened in my neighborhood, them eggs would be found so damn fast.
Yeah, right? Everyone hoarding them.
Yeah.
So she faces 11 counts of distributing obscene material, which that's interesting. And then she was also driving without a valid license. Really, really great job all around there.
Yeah.
I like the statement here. It says, thankfully she didn't appear to be sick, but certainly needed some help. And calling her a deranged offender. So it's just a weirdo.
That's a little harsh. Deranged.
There's got to be more to this story. So maybe she's just bizarre. Oh, the picture here, it says she's 42 years old, but I'd lean closer to 62. So something happened here. All right, let's move on to that. Now, this one's great. I think the headline itself, you don't even need any more than this. I hope you. Oh, sorry. Whoops, I got the wrong one here. Florida man accused of beating cellmate asked for a courtesy flush to help with smell. This is like the start of a sitcom, and then ends, with the brutal.
Oh man, I wish I picture like the Seinfeld music like popping in, like that nice bass line.
Oh my goodness, you're sitting there, you're a cellmate, you're in close quarters. It's like, come on, man, can you give me a flush?
Yeah.
And then apparently there's no courtesy, because the next courtesy you got was a beating.
Yeah. I mean, depending on who your cellmate is, I mean, and depending on what crime they're arrested for, you're really gonna. I mean, how much you really gonna save for someone having a stinky shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
I picture prison smelling that great as it is, Dave. I mean, I don't think they stock up on air fresheners.
I don't think so either. There's no Glade or Febreze or whatever. Yeah, it's difficult to know what the prison etiquette is here. Do you just let them, maybe there's no such thing as a courtesy flush in prison as we're learning.
You got to conserve water somehow, man. You know.
Now this one isn't a Florida. That's it for Florida news, but this one feels like a Florida news story. Iowa woman drove to police station, asked for officers to test her methamphetamine for coronavirus. Cops say, "Could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
I really don't want to get sick. Could you test this stuff for me?"
Oh God! She just walks in and says, "Hey, can you test my meth for me?" What the hell do you think the expression was on those cops' faces?
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, what the hell do you say to that?
It's funny how dumb you are.
Oh,
yes,
God.
Exactly. I mean, it's very. I mean, the stupidest thing. I mean, you would think that. Well, I don't know. If you're on meth, you're probably not thinking straight, right? As we saw from Tiger King, you're not really all there.
Yeah.
But there are ways of maybe you could sterilize it, put it in the oven at 170 degrees for 30 minutes or something like that.
I hear that's how you sterilize N95 masks.
It is, and we have a how-to video coming out on that very soon.
What?
That's nuts, man.
All right, so that's all I had on that. Let's move on here. We've got a story of people keeping busy in the lockdown, a story from the Mirror UK saying our sex toy company is booming since the lockdown. This is what people are buying. I mean, you can't buy toilet paper, but you can buy plenty of sex toys, enough to keep yourself busy while you're locked down at home.
Me so horny.
Oh,
That's perfect. I mean, you gotta, especially if you're single, man, you're just stuck in the house by yourself. What else are you going to do? You know?
Yeah, and these guys, by the picture in the story, they've got a number of ideas of what you can do. They're all the items that they sell are laid out on the table. Some of these are
right. That's excellent.
These are a little bit terrifying, but I mean, we all have to find a way to maintain our sanity, don't we?
Oh yeah, no one loves me like I love me.
So, well, thank you for that company for stepping up and helping out the community to fill our needs.
100%. Those are the real good Samaritans in all of this crazy world that we're in now.
Yeah, why did my neighbor give me a roll of toilet paper? Why didn't I get a sex toy instead?
Should have got like a pocket ass or something.
All right, Zach.
Toilet paper, neighbor, but here's a pocket ass.
Takes all kinds. There's a story here that you found as well, Zach. The most expensive cup of coffee is made with cat poop.
Oh, as I take a sip of my coffee.
What do you got there?
Coffee, not this coffee.
Oh Christ!
Tell them what's in it, Dave.
So they essentially they let the cats eat the coffee, and then they collect the poop, and then somehow steep that, and then drink it. I mean,
oh God, that's how pandemics start.
Where's the lesson here?
Shit. I don't walk around in my backyard and look at my dog's dumps and say, like, this would be good poured over hot water. This would be good in a cup with hot water, just boiling water poured over it.
This is a premium roast. I love this. But yeah, I mean, the details here, let's see. So there's a certain kind of a cat called the civet cat who is due to their keen sense of smell, they naturally pick out and eat only the ripest coffee cherries. As they digest the cherries, the enzyme in their body breaks them down and removes the pulp, leaving behind just the coffee bean. So they eat the whole thing and they pump out the bean. And during that process, there's some kind of fermentation occurs and gives the civet cat coffee its special flavor.
Oh God. Shit? Is that what the flavor is?
I think, we don't need to act like it's. Yeah, I love its sulfuric aroma.
Sulfuric aroma.
I mean, what? This is it, right? This is the bat. I mean, this is the same crap, literally.
Literally.
This is along the same lines.
Oh.
The pangolin, the bat. What are we doing here? Just eat chicken, pork, and beef, and maybe some lamb or something. I don't know.
And not what they shit out.
No, that's not far from here. There's a litter box. That's where that goes. It doesn't go in my
It goes
cup.
in the trash can.
Unreal. All right, Zach, let's move on. Illinois mayor told police, this is another example of elite hypocrisy. Illinois mayor told police to crack down on social gatherings. His wife discovered at a bar 2 days later.
What an asshole. She knows her husband just made this order. What if it's like one of those situations where they're like actually not together? It's just a ruse for like the public eye. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to the bar. Yeah.
You tell me what to do. Now, I'm just surprised that there's even a bar open. They found her at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Hanging out with some other. I mean, is it like a, I wonder now, is what's going on now? All the rich and famous people, they're actually opening up the bars in secret, like late at night when we're all told
we're going back to prohibition. Like it's like speakeasies are opening up everywhere and you don't even know about it.
Yeah. But it's only for like the rich and powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, this one just irritates me. I mean, just this, do as I say, not as my wife does, I guess.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
Absolute bullshit.
Bullshitometer. That'd be a 10, Dave.
Well, let me ask you this: Would you go to the? Well, yeah. What would be the? Are we going to like a scale of 10 or?
Let's go. Yeah, I guess 1 to 10.
All right. Well, I'd give it a. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make me angry because I kind of expect it, but I call it like a 7. I don't know.
I guess the hypocrisy is just the elite hypocrisy just makes me angry more than other stories. So I mean, it's bullshit. She gets to go out and do all this stuff, and after her husband just made this order, but whatever.
Oh, maybe I'll bump it up to an 8. Well, did you give a number?
I'd say an 8. I would agree with an 8.
Okay. Let me ask you this: Would you go to a bar right now?
No, I 100% would not go to the bar right now. Even if they were open, I don't think I would.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like a bar or a restaurant, I wouldn't. And I wonder when I would go back. So, not only, I mean, this isn't even just. I mean, of course, it's do as I say, not as I do. But I don't even believe what I say do. In other words, I'm telling you to stay home, and I don't even think it's going to help you because I'm just going to go out anyways to do what I want. So I don't even believe that this is a problem. That's what I'm saying. Like right now, if I was the mayor, right, and I said stay home, I would because I believe it, and I don't want you to go out to a bar. I wouldn't go to a bar. That's what just drives me nuts.
Yeah, you were saying if you want to go out to the bar and get coronavirus, good for you. Have fun.
I've heard people say that in the debate about when we're going to reopen things, and they're sort of like, "Hey, if you want to go out, but if you get sick, well, don't blame me." I don't know what to make of that. Say that because you can't. What are you going to determine? How do you determine? Well, this person did it and they got it from this thing, and so now we won't treat them or something. I don't know. A lot going on there. You have any thoughts on what I just rambled about?
I don't know. I mean, how the hell? I'm sure some businesses would love to like open up again that are hurting, but are they even going to make enough money to like stay open? Like some of these businesses that have to be closed, like, yeah, they're not bringing in revenue, but they're also not spending any money right now because they're not, most of them aren't paying their employees. If the government does end the lockdown, but things are still dangerous, people are going to have to reopen, start paying employees again. Their overhead expenses are going to go back up, and they're probably not going to get the kind of customers they did before.
No, not at all. I mean,
situation.
I agree. I agree 100%. Plus, I don't know what they're doing about whatever their lease payments are in the buildings that they're occupying, like a restaurant somewhere. I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know, just to say a round number. I'm going to say 6 months. So whenever like the all clear is, I'd give it a good 6 months before things get back to where, like, just say a restaurant is, selling the same amount of stuff as they would do on a normal weekend. I don't know. That seems like a fair estimate, don't you think?
Yeah. 6 months from now, that sucks to think about, but it's true. I mean, I mean, I know once this thing is once this curve is flattened,
Yeah.
I will be like, I'm sure most people will be out celebrating, you know. I feel like a lot of businesses are going to do pretty well. Like after this whole thing flattens out,
Yeah.
there's going to just be an influx of people going to bars and restaurants and movies and getting out of the house finally. But
I know exactly what I want to do. I want to go to the beach with the wife and the dog, hang out there for an hour or two, and then stop off at a beach restaurant and just chill and watch the sunset. That's what I want to do. I cannot wait to do that.
I don't know what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do
just gonna go.
What is the same shit I'm doing now? Just sitting in the house. It's like, I don't know. See, I don't have like beaches near me. I guess I could take a drive to the nearest beach town, Ocean City, which is like 2.5, 3 hours. But
I mean, even it's as simple as like just going to like a local brewery. I mean, that's enough, right?
That's what I would end up doing.
Yeah. I've got it. Don't worry. I got it all figured out for you, buddy.
Perfect. Send me my itinerary.
Okay. All right, let's move on to tree hugger news. When you can't hug another person, Iceland has a suggestion. Hug a tree. The story comes from informedamerica.com. And this is really good. I mean, there's a quote here from the guy who runs the forestry service in Iceland. He says, when you hug a tree, you feel it first in your toes, and then up your legs, and then into your chest, and then up into your head. It's such a wonderful feeling of relaxation that you're ready for a new day and new challenges. So, Zach, while we cannot go out and hug each other, we can hug trees, and this sounds like quite the sensual experience here.
What?
It does sound sensual. It sounds like that guy is doing more than hugging the tree.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Is that a hole from a woodpecker, or is that for some other purpose?
Yeah. A new meaning to woodpecker. It's like, hey, friend, you want to go outside and hug the tree? Right.
We're all going tree hugging this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, guys. There's nothing. It's not like it's a blanket. I mean, they're rough and nasty, and like some of the pine trees around here, you can get cut by hugging one. This is crazy.
I wonder who the first person was that took like the term tree hugger and made it like an actual like act. Took it from just being like a tree hugger meant like, an environmentalist to like someone actually hugging a fucking tree.
Yeah. Or, I mean, was it the other way around where did people used to hug trees and they were like crazy they're like, well, like this guy. And then
I don't know any hippies. Maybe we'll like call up Carol Baskins.
She knows.
She seems like she would know the answer to that question.
This is just bizarre. And this is not helping. This is bullshit. That you're not going to get these feelings from the tree. This is garbage. We're looking for something here. This is not the answer. All right. Now, Zach, we talked about how Mother Nature hates you a couple of our episodes. And if it's not the coronavirus, it's going to be something else. There was that earthquake in Idaho, right?
Yep.
And there's that thing. There's those by the way, those fires in Chernobyl that we talked about last week. Those are still going on.
I know. I keep seeing things about them.
Good luck with all that.
Get out of me. It's across the ocean, a world away, and it's still after watching Chernobyl on HBO. Now I'm like deathly afraid of radiation poisoning for some reason.
That's the worry, right? You can get up in the air and then just with some wind will take it across.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get like a powerful gust of wind that'll blow all the way over here.
No, thank you. So far, Africa has been spared of the coronavirus. I mean, not completely, but certainly not as bad as China, Europe, and North America.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Mother Nature has something. Parts of Africa are bracing for a locust swarm 20 times larger than the last swarm. So if you're not going to get this horrible virus, you will get swarmed with locusts. So,
I don't mean to laugh at the situation. That sucks for them. But I just picture like two guys being out on a farm and like hanging out and be like, well, thank God we don't got coronavirus. And then you just like, what the hell's that sound? Like, in like Jurassic Park when they're like, they start hearing like the footsteps and the water shake. That's what I picture that. And then just like hearing the sounds of like millions of locusts like flying in the distance. And they look up and just see a cloud of locusts flying at them.
Poor guys.
Yeah, no, it sucks, but...
Oh, terrible. I mean, yeah, because you think maybe they're dodging a bullet with the virus. Mm-hmm. Although I have heard some suggestion that since they were in their summer, Well, in other words, there's a theory that the virus will partially get killed during the hot summer months. Now, versus no, sorry, I got this backwards. Africa is going into its winter, which people are afraid will allow the virus to thrive. So the virus was kept at bay during the summer versus, up here in the north, it was thriving in the winter in the northern hemisphere. I think I said all that correctly.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. So Africa's been in their winter.
Yeah.
So the virus has.
No, they were in their summer.
They were in their summer. They're going into their winter. Right.
So that people think that the summer months will keep the virus at bay and slow infections. And now they're heading into their winter months.
All right. Just a little side. I think I'm not a fucking meteorologist, so this is why I don't understand this. But it just baffles me how one part of the world can be in a different season than another. I mean, like we're going into summer and Africa's going into winter. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't get that.
What is the bullshit? Is it that, or is it your third grade education? What was the bullshit? What?
Third grade? Good Lord, I didn't learn that. I wouldn't have learned that in senior year of high school either.
Maybe we can do. I got some lights here. Maybe we can do like the light with the globe or the thing going around. Wow, I was going the wrong way there. We'll have a light and we'll show the circle of the earth, and then we could look at the shadow and how and the axis of the earth and how that gives us our seasons.
That sounds good.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
It is. Well, it's confusing, and as you can tell with me trying to explain, I could not explain it in 3 sentences. It took me like 10 minutes. So, it is kind of hard to fathom and how that all works out. So. Anyway, are you mad at me for making fun of you for this?
No.
Okay. All right. So that's how we hope the locust swarm isn't as big as it's going to be, and not the worst in 70 years as they're saying. So good luck with that, Zach. We talked about a new identification method.
Yes, we did.
We have iris scanners, we have fingerprint scanners, and now a smart toilet could identify you by your own anal print.
I hope it has a bidet built in. That's the least it could do.
This is supposedly it's a way of identifying each user, so it makes sense. So instead of you having to be like, hey, it's Dave here, all I got to do is sit down and it knows it's Dave.
One article I read said something about a camera being on the toilet where it uses some kind of camera to recognize your ass.
Yeah.
Those are going to be hacked. There's going to be some pervert out there that's going to be hacking in the toilets to look at people, doing their business. And it's disgusting.
So that one had a little pop to it. Is this only a crime? Is it a crime if you don't give permission? Is that what it is? Because I think that sounds like something that's illegal, just taking pictures of people going to the toilet.
Oh yeah, there has to be some kind of consent form when you buy this toilet.
The idea for the anal print was sparked by Salvador Dali, the famous printer, who discovered that the anus has 35 or 37 creases, which are as unique as fingerprints. So I love Salvador Dali, but I do not appreciate this contribution.
I didn't even find that out. He must have looked at a lot of asses to come up with that scientific theory.
It is a weird guy, and just strange that was your inspiration. I don't know how you arrived at that, but yeah. So the idea here is it's going to collect information about your bodily waste and use that data to look for any health issues you might have. So, I mean, what do you do with this? Well, this is going to get hacked. It's going to get leaked, and this is just more nonsense for me to worry about. Pictures of my a picture of me going to the bathroom out there now. More bullshit.
I mean, I think their heads are in the right place. That seems like, of all the things to talk to your doctor about, your shit is the most embarrassing.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a way to find if something's wrong with you without actually having to go to the doctor and have that conversation. I appreciate the concern, but I don't think it's going to go well.
No. Yeah, that's a good point though. I've seen commercials for this like they send you a bag and you poop in it and you mail it back. You see that thing?
I've never heard of that before.
It's like, this is like the cat thing with the. I don't know. Maybe this is. You'll find out this is the new coffee or something. But
I'm sure the bags are like a nice like medical like cup or something. But I'm like picturing someone shitting in like a Walmart plastic bag and like just like putting it in the post office mail like slot.
I guess if you got a trash can the right size, maybe you could line the can with a bag and then just kind of sit into the can. I don't know that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I haven't shit many trash cans in my life, so I'm not sure.
That's enough of that. But in a similar vein, there's a lot of this is very much a very juvenile themed show today. Zach, let's move on to our last segment, the fear mongering segment. And these are the stories that we found that are just, you're just making things worse. This is not helping. And so this one, coronavirus could be spreading through the globe through farts, claims doctor.
There it is.
I mean, you're worrying about coughs, you're worrying about sneezes, and now you got to worry about some guy ripping ass in the aisle next to you.
That's it's worse. It's bad enough to worry about the stink. When you're out and you smell it and you're like, oh God, who the hell was that? And now it's like you got to worry about more than just stink. It makes you feel like shit because you smell it, and now you're going to get infected because of it.
Yeah, this is like this smells like death. This smells like disease, and in this case, it could be true.
Yeah,
this is fear mongering, absolute bullshit. Just stop with this, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if it's true, if it really is true, because they say that this actually could be spread through feces, and apparently when you do a little toot, there could be some feces particles in there, which could go out through the air. So I'm wondering, and maybe this is a new product. We've heard a lot about N95 masks for your face. Could we maybe do an underwear line with N95 material?
There was this underwear going around that made your farts not stink.
Uh-huh.
There's got to be something to that.
Yeah, so we'll do filtration and scent blocking. What do you think of that?
They say that like if you fart on someone's pillow, it gives you pink eye. And that actually is true. That happened to my sister.
How do you know that?
Yeah, my sister.
Did you do it?
No, my dad did it. My sister was in the hospital for something, and she was in the bathroom, and my dad farted on her pillow. And the next day, she woke up in the hospital bed and had pink eye.
Oh, my God. What? Did your dad feel bad or
no? He thought it was funny, but and it was right after that movie came out. I think what movie was it? Was it Knocked Up or something? It was like right after that movie came out, so it was like a joke. It was like everyone was like, "That's how you get pink eye. It's real. That's the true thing now."
That's hilarious. She must have been so angry. Oh, that's horrible. All right, let's move off of shit. We got more fear mongering going on here. This story comes from the Mirror. Ghosts, in quotes, clad in bed sheets scare people into sticking to coronavirus lockdown. I mean, this is literal fear mongering. This is people hanging out in the streets wearing basically scary, ghost costumes and just frightening everyone back into their homes. This is kind of hilarious.
It is. I think it's more funny than anything. But it's like, do you remember when there was those damn clowns that were going around? That's exactly what this is. You know what I mean? I think now you kind of expect it and you know what's going on, but I think clowns is a little more scarier. But still, it's, if I see some guy standing out front of my house with, bed sheet over him.
I'm not going out.
No, hell no. There was this one guy. I was visiting a friend of mine that lives in Seattle a few years ago, and there was this homeless guy that lives like on the street near like where their building was.
Yeah.
And I was like leaving to go like to 7-Eleven or whatever, and my friend was like, "There's this homeless guy that lives down there. Be careful because he likes to scare people." And I was like, okay. So I'm just walking like down the street, like in front of the building.
Yeah.
And he scared the shit out of me. He literally just popped out from behind a pillar and went, ah! Oh my God, he scared the shit out of me. He went, I got you. You owe me a quarter. I was like, I don't got any cash for me. How about I buy you like a 40 or something? So like Colt 45 will do. And I was like, all right, you got a friend.
Wow. Well, see, we were talking earlier about homeless people, for begging for money just to end up going to buy alcohol. But this was actually a better way, I think. Yeah. This guy he provides a real scare in exchange. He gets some cash or whatever.
He earned that money.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
You got me, man. So the rest of that week, every time I went down, that's what I was expecting. I was like, I would have to walk like tensed up, like ready for someone to jump out and scare the shit out of me. Everyone was probably looking at me like, look at that asshole. Why is he walking like that?
Oh, that's great. Last thing on this, there's a picture of a guy wearing a giant wig and beard with a robe and standing on top of a van, just motionless. That's really weird. Terrifying. Hopefully you keep people. Now this comes from Malaysia, so I don't know what people would do around here if they saw people in those outfits, but anyway, whatever works.
Depending what state they're in and their gun laws, there'd be
exactly. All right, we got just a couple more here. There's a growing fear that you could catch COVID-19 more than once as patients who have recovered from tests start to test positive again. This story comes from the Daily Mail and citing some stuff going on in South Korea. Now, I think it sort of says things, but it's a little inconclusive. They may be testing positive but not be having symptoms. So yeah. I think at this point, just keep this shit away. I don't need this bullshit right now,
I wonder how many people are like, I've already had it, so you know what? I don't care. I'm going to go back out because I can't get it again.
Yeah.
They could. But, granted, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how this works, but does it like stay in your system even though you're like over it? You know what I mean? Like if you're cured, but it's like in you still, like I'm wondering if you can still spread it.
Right. Now I think, I don't know if you can, in other words, do you carry, you might have the antibody, but can you infect others? I don't think so. But again, I'm not a doctor either. No, I mean, these are really the two worst people to answer this question. I have no freaking idea.
That should be a new segment on our show. Me and you try to answer like a scientific question you know not fucking nothing about.
We'll try to reason our way through like the theory of quantum physics or something.
Jesus.
That's a great idea. Last one I got here, Zach. Last story I got here the day. A woman who caught coronavirus despite self-isolating for 3 weeks believes it was passed to her when she was collecting a bag of groceries left on her doorstep. I mean, well, what not? So I can't go out. I can't let anything in. Someone, if I can get it, I don't believe this is bullshit. I don't believe this. I think they said, well, I did see my pharmacist a week earlier. Well, maybe that was that.
Yeah. That sounds like my sister. She won't do anything. I mean, she is so freaked out about this. She gets all her groceries delivered. She will not leave the house. She won't even go across the street to see my parents because they live right next door to each other. Yeah. But she has a system kind of like you, where like when they deliver her groceries, she like actually like sprays them down with like disinfectant and shit before she. So you're opening up open up food and it tastes like Lysol and disinfectant.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
Well, her and I should never meet because we're probably too alike and we'll drive each other nuts. That's insane. Look, you gotta. They're just got. Well, the hard thing is you don't really know what's my risk here when I do this stuff, and you try to do the best you can, but there is no 100%, right? There's no way. No matter what you do, even if you spray everything down, you're gonna miss something. You're gonna touch something. Something just could be in the air. Some guy farting and walking by. There's no way.
Apparently,
there's no way we can do this thing 100%. So at this point, I don't want to hear this story. This is bullshit. We're all trying to do the best we can. Now you tell me I can't even get delivery groceries. Christ. So not for the fear mongering, Zach.
That's the society we live in, though. We've been fear-mongering long before this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll be fear-mongering. Don't worry, we'll find something else.
Before this, it was fear-mongering over immigration. Now it's fear-mongering over coronavirus. After COVID, it'll be something else for us all to be scared of.
One crisis after another. Zach, do you have any more bullshit we need to shovel over our shoulders and laugh at?
I've had enough bullshit.
I've had enough of this shit. I'd love to hear what all of you guys think about the topics that we covered today. If you enjoy this channel, enjoy this content, I love it if you would subscribe and hit the like button. Also, if you are listening to us on a podcast platform, and give us a review and ratings, especially counts on iTunes. I encourage you all to check out informedamerican.com, where a lot of these stories come from. For Zach, I am Dave, and I've had enough of this BS.
You've been listening to the BS Podcast with Dave and Zach, part of the Informed American Radio Network. Please like and subscribe today in order to get fresh new weekly episodes. Please send us your BS stories to info@informedamerican.com. The world is hard enough, and now we gotta deal with this bullshit.